The late afternoon sun bathed the streets of Lincoln Heights in a golden hue, casting long shadows that danced across cracked sidewalks and time-worn brick buildings. Marcus Bennett stood behind the counter of Bennett's Market, his family-owned convenience store tucked on the corner of Cedar and Grant. The shelves were lined with essentials, canned goods, fresh produce, and everyday staples, neatly organized, each row a reflection of Marcus's meticulous nature. But it wasn't just about the merchandise. The store was a sanctuary, a symbol of resilience in a neighborhood fighting to hold on to its identity. Marcus adjusted the security monitors behind the counter, his sharp eyes scanning the live feed. His military past, once defined by tense missions in foreign lands, had been replaced by the steady rhythm of community life. Yet the instincts honed during his years as a Special Forces operative never dulled. Every corner of the store had been fortified, reinforced locks, alarm systems, and strategically placed cameras. It wasn't paranoia, it was preparation. The bell above the door chimed as Mrs. Douglas, a regular, entered, her gray curls peeking from under a knitted hat. "Evenin', Marcus," she greeted warmly, grabbing a basket. "Evenin', Mrs. D." "Fresh batch of apples came in this morning," Marcus replied, his deep voice carrying a familiar warmth. She smiled, heading towards the produce section, but Marcus's mind was elsewhere. Lately, there had been rumors, whispers of local businesses being pressured to sell, their owners bullied into leaving by men who didn't play by the rules. Some stores had already closed, their windows boarded up with "for sale" signs slapped on the front. Marcus had brushed it off at first, but unease nodded him. As the sun dipped lower, casting amber light through the store windows, Marcus began closing up. The regulars had come and gone, and the hum of the old ceiling fan was the only sound left. He locked the front door, took the cash drawer to the back, and started counting bills when he noticed movement on the monitors. 3 men stood outside near an old pickup truck, its paint chipped and rust flaking. They weren't familiar faces. Marcus's jaw tightened as he watched them talk, their gestures sharp, their attention fixed on the store. A moment later, they approached. The bell chimed again as the trio stepped inside. The leader was tall, wiry, with sunken cheeks and cold eyes. He wore a leather jacket, the kind meant to make a statement. Flanking him were 2 others, one stocky with a shaved head, the other lanky, his hoodie pulled low. "Afternoon," Marcus greeted evenly, watching their every move. The leader sauntered to the counter, tapping his knuckles against the glass. "Nice place you got here," he said, his voice slick with false charm. "Name's Victor." "Marcus," he replied, though he knew Victor already had that information. Victor leaned in slightly. "Word around is, there's a lot of changes happening in the neighborhood. Some folks are cashing out, selling while the market's hot. You ever think about that?" Marcus's expression didn't change. "This store's not for sale." Victor chuckled, glancing at his men. "See, that's what I figured. But sometimes it's better to take the offer before things get complicated." The stocky one, Eddie, wandered an aisle, knocking a can off the shelf. It clattered to the floor. "Oops," he said, not bothering to pick it up. Marcus stepped around the counter, his boots heavy against the tile. "You want to try that again?" Eddie grinned but didn't pick up the can. Victor held up a hand. "Easy, easy. We're just here to talk, man. But you might want to reconsider. Things happen to stores that don't play along. Broken windows, fires, accidents." Marcus's patience frayed. "This community's been through enough. We don't need people like you making it worse." Victor's smile thinned. "All right, but don't say we didn't give you a chance." They left as quickly as they'd come, but Marcus knew this wasn't over. That night, Marcus reinforced the locks, double-checked the cameras, and slept lightly, his old instincts buzzing like a frayed wire. The next morning, as he opened the shop, he noticed it. The back alley dumpster was scorched, blackened from a fire that had been quickly extinguished. His throat tightened. A warning. He called in a favor from an old contact, Jordan, who now worked in private security. "You were right," Marcus said over the phone. "They're pushing harder." "Yeah, I've been hearing things," Jordan replied. "This isn't random. There's bigger money behind this, developers using muscle to force sales. But it's deeper than that. Certain neighborhoods, mostly black-owned businesses, are being targeted." Marcus's jaw clenched. "Figures. Be careful. These guys don't play fair." Neither do I. Days passed, but Marcus noticed the signs, strange cars idling across the street, regulars warning him of men asking questions about his store. And then it happened. It was late, just before closing, when the truck returned. This time, they didn't bother with conversation. Victor and his crew kicked open the front door, glass shattering as Marcus ducked behind the counter, reaching for the collapsible baton he kept stashed there. Victor stepped in first, a crowbar in hand. Told you, old man. Should have sold when you had the chance. Marcus moved fast. His years in the military surged forward, instincts honed and sharp. He swung the baton low, striking Victor's knee. The man howled, collapsing as Marcus pivoted to face Eddie, who lunged with a broken shelf board. Marcus ducked, sweeping Eddie's legs out from under him. The lanky one, Tommy, charged but froze as Marcus raised the baton. Think hard, Marcus warned. Tommy hesitated, then bolted out the door. Victor groaned, clutching his knee, but managed a bitter smile. You think this is over? You're just a speed bump. Marcus grabbed Victor by the collar. Then I'm a damn big one. He called the police, ensuring they took Victor and Eddie in. But as officers led them out, one muttered under his breath, "Won't stick. Guys like this have lawyers on speed dial." Marcus didn't respond, but he felt the truth of it. Later that night, as he reviewed the security footage, he noticed something. Tommy, the lanky one, had left behind a burner phone. Marcus powered it on, bypassed the lock screen with ease, and found messages, dates, locations, and payment records. One name stood out. Sterling Development Corporation. Jordan confirmed it. They've been quietly buying up properties, using goons like Victor to force owners out. It's systemic. Marcus sat back, feeling the weight of it. They're targeting entire communities. And unless someone shines a light on it, they'll get away with it. Marcus made up his mind. The next few days were a whirlwind. Marcus gathered evidence, traced the paper trail, and found the smoking gun, a memo from Sterling Development's CEO detailing the plan to reclaim underdeveloped urban areas using alternative acquisition methods. He partnered with local activists and reporters, sharing the story, the footage, the proof. The media storm hit fast. Headlines exploded. Local hero exposes corporate scheme targeting black communities. The fallout was immediate. Sterling Development faced investigations, Victor and his crew were charged with racketeering, and city officials were forced to respond. But for Marcus, it wasn't about the headlines. One evening, as he stocked shelves, Mrs. Douglas returned. A bag of apples in her hands. "You saved this place," she said softly. "No," Marcus replied. "We all did." Lincoln Heights wasn't perfect, but it was home. And Marcus Bennett wasn't about to let anyone take that away.